Hey guys, Lord Naren White here, the Holy Ghost, the one true God. Back with you with the next video in my Daily Diary series. As usual, before I discuss what I have achieved since yesterday's Daily Diary video, I want to read you a chapter from the Bible. Today it will be the book of Judges, chapter 8. And the men of Ephraim said unto him, Why hast thou served us thus, that thou called us not, when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites? And they did chide with him sharply. And he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer? God hath delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb, and Zeb, and what was I able to do in comparison of you? Then their anger was abated toward him, when he had said that. And Gideon came to Jordan, and passed over, he and the 300 men that were with him, faint, yet pursuing them. And he said unto the men of Succoth, Give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me, for they be faint. And I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian. And the princes of Succoth said, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thine army? And Gideon said, Therefore when the Lord hath delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into mine hand, then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness, and with briars. And he went up thence to Penuel, and spake unto them likewise. And the men of Penuel answered him, as the men of Succoth had answered him. And he spake also unto the men of Penuel, saying, When I come again in peace, I will break down this tower. Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their hosts with them, about 15,000 men, all that were left of all the hosts of the children of the east, for there fell 120,000 men that drew sword. And Gideon went by the way of them that dwelt in the tents on the east of Nobah, and Jogbehah, and smote the host, for the host was secure. And when Zebah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them, and took the 2 kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the host. And Gideon the son of Joash returned from battle before the sun was up, and caught a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him. And he described unto him the princes of Succoth, and the elders thereof, even 70 men. And he came unto the men of Succoth, and said, Behold Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom ye did upbraid me, saying, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thy men that are weary? And he took the elders of the city, and thorns of the wilderness, and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth. And he beat down the tower of Penuel, and slew the men of the city. Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna, What manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they answered, As thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king. And he said, They were my brethren, even the sons of my mother, as the Lord liveth. If ye had saved them alive, I would not slay you. And he said unto Jether his firstborn, Up, and slay them. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, Rise thou, and fall upon us, for as the man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose, and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, Rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you, the Lord shall rule over you. And Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that ye would give every man the earrings of his prey, for they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites. And they answered, We will willingly give them. And they spread a garment, and did cast therein every man the earrings of his prey. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, beside ornaments and collars, and purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian, and beside the chains that were about the camels' necks. And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in his city, even in Ophrah. And all Israel went thither a whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon and his house. Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more. And the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon. And Jerubbaal the son of Joash went and dwelt in his own house. And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. And his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bore him a son, whose name he called Abimelech. And Gideon the son of Joash died in a good old age, and was buried in the sepulchre of Joash his father, in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. And it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned again, and went a whoring after Baalim, and made Baal-berith their god. And the children of Israel remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side. Neither shewed they kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, namely Gideon, according to all the goodness which he had shewed unto Israel. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. There is so much here to discuss. Let me go ahead and start with the reason why Gideon is one of my favorite men in the Bible. Here in Judges 8:22 and 23, then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, Rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hands of Midian. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. The Lord shall rule over you. How powerful is that? How powerful is that? Gideon will not rule. Instead, he said that the Lord will rule. And one of the most beautiful examples of this in modernity, which is nothing like the Bible, I think of George Washington. After he is one of the men who fights in the French and Indian Wars first and foremost. Of course, that is the British against the French and the Indian tribes. And then after that, he fights in the Revolutionary War, of course, as General George Washington, very famously in the Battle of Valley Forge, all etc. other battles. And he, of course, is the colonies, the 13 colonies, are the winner of independence. They won their independence from the British Empire. After that, they come and they ask George Washington, does he want to be king? George Washington says they didn't do all of this fighting to replace King George with, I think it actually was King George at that time, with George Washington, King George Washington. Let me double check. British king during American Revolution. I believe it's King George. George III, yeah. So that's exactly right. He says that he does not want to replace one king with another. And of course, that's nothing like the Bible, but a very beautiful understanding of what the kind of sacrifice means. Then following that, this is one of the most beautiful passages here. In Judges 8:33, well, not beautiful, but telling. In Judges 8:33, and it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned again and went a whoring after Baalim, and made Baal-berith their god. So they didn't really heed the lessons that Gideon fought for in his life. Yeah, and very beautiful here. Gideon with the earrings. This is very, very beautiful. Of course, Gideon gets all the gold from the earrings. And it says Gideon made an ephod thereof. I need to understand what an ephod actually is. Maybe it sounds like it's a statue. Interesting. The ephod, it says, is a garment, a vestment for the high priest. It's essentially meant to be like a symbol of something good. And so Gideon made an ephod thereof here in Judges 8:27. And Gideon made an ephod thereof and put it in his city, even in Ophrah. And all Israel went thither a whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon and to his house. So the gold that Gideon got here was not a blessing, which was just fascinating. Very interesting. And I love this passage here in Judges 8:24, and Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that ye would give me every man the earrings of his prey, for they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites. How powerful is that? You're hearing the name again of Ishmael after all these years since Genesis. Of course, Abraham's son, the promised son in that sense being Isaac, and then Ishmael, the son of Abraham and Hagar, instead of Abraham and Sarai. How powerful. That's what seed is, you know? When seed keeps going, it's just so beautiful. All right, next up is here. This is really probably one of the most powerful passages in Judges. Here, you see here. And he came unto the first Judges 8:15, and he came unto the men of Succoth and said, Behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom did ye upbraid me, saying, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto the men that are weary? So of course then he beats down the tower of Penuel and slays the men of those city, who said they won't help him previously, until they just so they give the same answer, of course, as the men of Succoth. Penuel and Succoth give the same answer. Beautiful. And so now that that's all dealt with. So then he says here, Then he said unto Zebah and Zalmunna in Judges 8:18, What manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they answered, As thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king. And he said, They were my brethren, even the sons of my mother, as the Lord liveth. If ye had saved them alive, I would not slay you. That's Gideon speaking. And he said unto Jether his firstborn, Up and slay them. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, Rise thou and fall upon us, for as the man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose, and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks. And that is so powerful. Why? Because Gideon tells his son Jether to execute Zebah and Zalmunna. Okay, so that's the first point. He tells his firstborn son to execute them. The kings here. The two kings of Midian. Why does he tell his son to do this? My interpretation as Lord Naren White is, he tells his son Jether to execute them, not because it's some fair fight, like it's not a one-on-one. He would be performing the task of the executioner. He tells him because he wants his son to know that next generation he is going to have to fight against any Midianites of that same age next generation. Does that make sense? So just for example, if Gideon and Zebah and Zalmunna are all 50, and here Jether here is 10, whatever it may be, Gideon wants Jether to know that the same level 10 aged boys of the tribes of Midian, that Jether of the tribe of Israel is going to have to fight them. So he wants Jether to execute Zebah and Zalmunna, so all the people of the local area know it was Jether who killed them. And that is why I believe Jether is afraid. Not because Jether is afraid of swinging a sword. Does that make sense? Aye. How powerful is that? Because it can't be. I mean, I don't know. As Lord Naren White, obviously, I have a very different perspective. The passage is unmistakable. It says here, And he said unto Jether in Judges 6:20, Up and slay them. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth. How powerful is that? Because that is the kingdom of God. Don't forget that the Lord, the very same Lord Jehovah, is one who tells the people as they're about to push into the land of Canaan, If ye do not fight and send your men, ye will get the pain that was meant for the enemy. And of course, at that time, the Reubenites and the other men actually do go fight. So they do in fact fight that time. So very powerful stuff. And with that, I'll go ahead and end the Bible reading there for today and transition over to what I have achieved since yesterday's Daily Dive video. Since yesterday's Daily Dive video, I worked at my core. I uploaded and scheduled my core workout video for 10/3/22. I uploaded and scheduled my chest workout video for 10/4/22. I uploaded and scheduled my core workout video for 10/5/22. I uploaded and scheduled my legs workout video for 10/6/22. I uploaded and scheduled my core workout video for 10/7/22. I uploaded and scheduled many Halo Infinite videos. I've created this daily dive video for 10/2/22. And with no further achievements since yesterday's daily dive video, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Please like, comment, and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel. Light be with you all. Take care, and thanks again.